Welcome to the reorganization meeting for the town of Amenia 2014. We will now administer the oath of office.
Okay. How do you want to have the people come up in front here? Or
Yes.
you just want them to stand in place?
I don't know if our numbers come
Yeah.
Well, let's have everybody come up.
Whoever wants to be, whoever's being sworn in.
For poetic justice. For poetic justice. Come on, Sam. Want to join us? Oh, so we're sworn in. Everybody at the table is already been sworn in.
Is our time up? Seven?
Michael, you ready?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I want to thank everybody for giving me the honor of being able to administer your oaths of office tonight. And I congratulate each and every one of you for either your election or re-election to an office for the town of Amenia. And I myself personally wish you all the best for the new year. We'll proceed now, and you can just, all of you collectively, raise your right hands and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York.
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
You're all deemed sworn in. Let's give them a hand. Okay. So who needs to sign an affidavit? Have you seen that?
Just two.
Maybe we just have them sign.
Yep, Stephen, Vicky, and then Bill Colder is in the back.
I'll take care of the rest of it. Just sign it.
Thank you.
Who's the other one?
Bill Colder?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll all please rise so we can salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are to my right behind the town clerk and also to my right, to your left, back by the Mike Flynn, our videographer. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Here.
Councilman Prody?
Here.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger? Here. And Councilman Delango?
Here.
And Supervisor Parodi?
I'm here. He said,
You answer for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Supervisor.
Okay, Supervisor Parodi here. We'll get this right. Okay, what we usually do with all of the resolutions and motions that we have to pass on reorganization is we each take a turn reading one. So I'll start with number 5, motion to accept Town of Amenia Rules of Procedure and Procurement. Can I make that motion?
I'll second it.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Parodi?
yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger? Yes. And Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Supervisor Parodi?
Yes. Gretchen, you do the next one.
As soon as I find the right piece of paper, I'm sure it's in there
Here
somewhere.
you go.
A motion to establish date, time, place for scheduled town board meetings. Business workshop, second Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. Regular meeting, fourth Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. Place, Town Hall, 4988 Route 22, Amenia, New York, 12501.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Parodi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Parodi?
Yes.
Number 7, motion to establish elected official salaries as noted. Elected official salaries, supervisor, $22,624. Councilman, councilwoman, 4 at $5,757. Sole assessor, $29,393. Justices, 2 at $16,895 apiece. Town clerk, $27,000. Highway superintendent, $57,055.
I second.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Parodi?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Parodi?
Yes. Eight.
All right, you got it. Number 8, a motion to appoint Ian McDonald as town attorney, 60 days. Ian McDonald, Esquire, attorney to the town general, $160 per hour, dollars an hour. Litigation, $185 an hour. Paralegals, $110 an hour.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Parodi?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Supervisor Parodi?
Yes.
Motion to accept appointments and salaries as noted. Appointments with salaries. Bookkeeper Sherry Johnson, 20 hours a week at $29.18 per hour for a salary of $30,357. Alternate per diem bookkeeper Lorna Sherman, $20 an hour. Bank reconciliation clerk Lisa Luce, bookkeeper's office, 3 hours per week at $20 an hour. Treasurer to Water District, Sherry Johnson, $3,811.74 salaried. Clerk to Water District, Karen McLaughlin, $3,811.74 salaried. Gail Zelensny, Esquire, Town Court Special Prosecutor, $145 per hour. Attorney for Old Amenia Landfill per contract, Kimberly Ray, $200 per hour. Budget Director, Supervisor / Consultant, that'd be Victoria Parodi, or our consultant, is that correct?
Yes.
That's $5,000. Secretary to Supervisor, Annette Culligan, $15 per hour. Typist, part-time, Monique Montaigne, $15 per hour. Code Enforcement Officer, John Fenton, $37,000, salaried. Building Administrative Assistant, Katrina Gore-Alexander, $17 per hour. Registrar of Vital Statistics, Dawn Marie Klingner, $10 per transaction, a maximum of $1,000. Planning Board and ZBA Recording Secretary, Susan Metcalf, $16.48 per hour. Alternate Planning Board and ZBA Recording Secretary, Larissa DeLango, $15 per hour. Planning Board Chairman, Joseph Fontaine, $2,575.50, salaried. Planning Board and ZBA Attorney, David Everett, Esquire, $225 per hour. Ethics Board Attorney, and that's an undetermined amount because we'll need to, if we need the services, we will need to procure them as per needed at the time. So we don't know how much that's going to be. Assessor's Clerk, Donna Morrison, $14,251. It's salaried. First Deputy Town Clerk, Patty Barron, $17 per hour for 30-hour work week. Second Deputy Town Clerk at $15 per hour. Bank Reconciliation Clerk, Jennifer Janes, and that's in the Town Clerk's office, putting in 5 hours a month, is $15 per hour. Chief Police Constable, Christopher Klingner, $16.48 per hour. Police Constables, Jason Dean, Brett Johnson, Dwayne Jackson, $15.15 per hour. Justice Clerk, Maureen Moore, for Honorable Moore, $15,948, salaried. Justice Clerk, Dawn Marie Klingner, for Honorable Divine, $15,948, salaried. Highway Foreman, Andy Wheeler, $22.62 per hour for a 40-hour week. Highway Laborers, Alan Wilbur, $22.12 per hour for a 40-hour week. Joseph Whitehead, $21.61 per hour for a 40-hour week. Megan Chamberlain, $21.11 per hour for a 40-hour week. Arthur Parrott, Senior, $20.60 per hour, 40-hour week. Highway Office Manager Judith Carlson, $15.45 per hour for a 15-hour week. Groundskeeper / cleaner John Culligan, $15.15 per hour for a 20-hour work week. Recreation Groundskeeper Sean Howard, $17.67 per hour for $11,309 maximum. Assistant Recreation Groundskeeper, $15 per hour, I assume. Videographer, Public Access, Mike Flint, $5,835.78 salaried. Dog Control Officer, Brett Johnson, $17 per hour. Grant Writer, Michael Haggerty, $26.27 per hour. Summer Recreation Director, Kathleen Howard, $18 per hour. Student Worker, John Harrison, $10 per hour.
My second.
Did we make changes in the budget to accommodate the new positions that are in there?
What changes?
Typist part-time, second deputy town clerk, and is there a cap for the dog control position, because it was salaried last time?
Well, as far as, I've made changes with the county. The position that was secretary to the supervisor was a 40-hour, it's now a 20-hour. And the other 20 hours is the part-time typist, and I'm doing the paperwork
Okay, so you
for
split
the county, so I split it so there'd be someone to cover.
And the second deputy town clerk?
Patty's looking at retiring come March, and when that happens, if she does retire, she'll go down to 15, 20 hours, and then the remainder of her time, but the person will be only making 15, not Patty's current
So
salary.
it'll balance
We'll
in
have
what
more-
we, in
we'll
what we
have-
plan.
Yeah,
It'll-
we'll have a little bit more.
Be in the budget.
Okay, and then the dog control officer was a flat rate, essentially salary position, now it's hourly.
He was hired at an hourly rate of
Yep.
$17 an hour. He was never given that cap. So all you have to do is tell him max 5 hours or you know, whatever.
He
you guys-
can't exceed his
He can't exceed
line,
his budget line.
budgeted line, I guess.
Right, thanks.
And then the groundskeeper, you established that in the
That
budget.
that was established in the
But
budget.
just no name because we haven't advertised.
Right, thanks.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
Yes.
Councilman Brody,
Yes.
Councilman Delango,
Yes.
and Supervisor Brody.
Yes. Okay, motion to execute agreement to spend highway funds in 2014.
I'll
If you all have
I'll
that.
second that.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
Do you have it? Oh, yes.
Councilman Brody,
Yes.
Councilman Delango,
Yes.
and Supervisor Brody.
Yes. Yes.
Motion to make the following appointments without salaries. Deputy Supervisor Vicki Doyle, Town Historian Arlene Uliano, Deputy Highway Superintendent Andy Wheeler, Registrar of Vital Statistics Dawn Marie Klingner, Records Management Officer Dawn Marie Klingner, Tax Collector Dawn Marie Klingner, Deputy Tax Collector Patty Barron, Damage Control Officer Brett Johnson, ZBA Chairman Woman Leo Blackman, Volunteer Assistant Videographer Open, All Hazard Mitigation Victoria Parati.
I'll second it.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
Yes.
Councilman Brody,
Yes.
Councilman Delango, and
Yes.
Supervisor Brody.
Yes.
Number 11, motion to approve $1 million bonding for town officials. Supervisor, Deputy Supervisor, Secretary to Town Supervisor, Bookkeeper and alternate bookkeeper each, Water District Treasurer and Deputy each, Town Clerk and Deputy Clerk each, Tax Collector and Deputy Tax Collector each, Code Enforcement Officer and Admin Assistant each, Justices each, there's 2, Town Clerks 2 at each, Constable,
Court clerks.
Court Clerks, I'm sorry, Court Clerks 2 each, Constables 4 each, Highway Superintendent and Deputy each, Highway Office Manager.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
Yes.
Councilman Brody,
Yes.
Councilman Delango,
Yes.
and Supervisor Brody.
Yes. 12.
Okay, motion to establish mileage reimbursement at federal rate of .56.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
Yes.
Councilman Brody,
Yes.
Councilman Delango,
Yes.
and Supervisor Brody.
Yes.
Motion to continue contract with Natural Water Services, Inc. for water treatment to the Water District, $30,000 contractual.
A second.
Didn't we have to make changes to that contract to allow them to do things? There were some conversations about like doing meter readings and stuff that's not included in the contract.
There were some changes that were proposed, but I think we didn't settle on any of the changes in particular.
Should we do it for like a 30-day review the contract and make sure, because I want to make sure, both sides are
I
protected
think we went over it pretty thoroughly and decided to abandon the changes to the contract, but
But he was charging,
for the amount that he was charging.
yeah, there were some amounts that weren't included in the contract, work he was being asked to be done that wasn't included.
Right, but I think he withdrew
Well-
that offer too. I mean, we can
Right.
do it, I think he withdrew those offers because we weren't
And actually, his contract expires sometime this year
in October.
in October.
It's just,
Okay. I just want to make sure he's covered.
does everybody feel comfortable with that?
Yes,
Where, can we get a copy of the contract?
yes.
Okay.
We'll
If I
get
could
a
get a
copy.
copy of that, please,
Sure.
thank you.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
No.
Councilman Prody?
Yes.
That's good. Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
That's you.
Motion to pay bills by resolution, utilities, postage meter, copy machine maintenance, rents, debt service, and employee benefits.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Prody?
Yes.
And Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Motion to name M&T Bank Corp., Bank of Millbrook, and Salisbury Bank and Trust Company the official depositories for town funds.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Prody?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Motion to designate the Millerton News as the official town newspaper.
Second.
I would just mention that sometimes there's a later deadline for the Millbrook Independent, which may assist us. And if we nominated both the Millerton News and the Millbrook Independent, does that require us to advertise in both?
If you do and, you would have to do both.
Okay. So I guess I would leave that up to everybody.
But we could still make a motion to use them for specific instances if we needed to.
Yeah, if you needed to add it. I'm just thinking that if there's a later deadline for the Millbrook Independent than there is for the Millerton News, I think they're pretty much done on Friday, whereas the Millbrook Independent, you could still squish things in on Monday and even Tuesday up until about 1 o'clock.
Well, we would be able to do that on a, each item basis.
As needed,
Yeah,
yeah.
as needed.
Okay.
So we're gonna leave it as is, just
Yeah.
with
Yes.
slight conversation, okay. Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Prody?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Okay, number 17 is the motion to authorize all boards to use tape recorders for aid with minutes, with the understanding that the tape does not replace typed and accepted minutes.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Prody?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prody?
Yes.
Let's see, was that me?
Yep.
Motion to accept town board auditors as noted. General Fund, Doyle and Delango. Highway Fund, Hitzelberger and Perotti. Water District, Perotti and Delango.
A second?
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Prody?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Prody?
Yes. Motion to accept town board appointments to standing committees as noted. Recreation, Perotti, Doyle, Housing Commission, Perotti, Hitzelberger, Wastewater, Delango, Perotti. Enhancement, Doyle, Hitzelberger, Conservation Advisory Council, Doyle, Hitzelberger. Emergency Response and Safety, Delango, Perotti. Ethics, Delango and Doyle. Holiday of Lights, Doyle and Hitzelberger. Water District, Delango and Perotti. Trail to Train, Delango and Hitzelberger.
I'll second that.
Is there a reason why I was taken off the water district
I think that's,
when I'm in the water district? I'm the only person in the water district?
No, all of those are in the Water District, Delango and Perotti, right? You all are, oh, you're not? Are you in the Water District?
you don't necessarily
Oh,
have to
maybe
be in
not.
the Water District. We've had a long.
And I have a
stint here.
conflict on the enhancement, which is why I wasn't on it. I was on rec. And
Have you
that's
ever
why-
been to a recreation committee meeting?
No, but I've spoken to Christine.
I'm
I'm just
happy to
kind of
cede to any,
surprised 'cause there
any-
was no conversation with me about any of the committee appointments. I'm just seeing this for the first time.
so you want to be on
apologize.
recreation?
I'd just, be happy to stay on the committees I was on last year.
Which
Well,
ones are
there's
those?
Conflict with you being on the water district at this time.
No, there
Committee.
isn't.
I believe there is, and the water district committee will stand as Delango and Perotti.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
No,
Councilman Crody,
Yes.
Councilman Delango,
Yes.
Supervisor Crody.
Yes. Which one?
oh, my turn.
Yes.
Motion to designate emergency interim successors, 3, for Dutchess County Emergency Response. Council members Mike Delango, Steve Perotti, and Vicky Doyle.
I'll second, guess I shouldn't second that. Does anybody else want to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay.
I can't, I'm on it. That's right.
Oh, you're on it too.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Guess I abstain.
it's not gonna.
It won't. Oh, I
You
see.
can still vote
You can
on it.
still vote.
Okay, yes.
I use pocket. Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
Yes.
Councilman Crody.
Yes.
We're gonna add Mr. Delango in there. Councilman
There's a
Delango.
couple
Oh,
like
right.
that.
Reamer
There's a
won't
couple
work.
like that. I just been crossing them out.
Delango.
And Supervisor Brody.
Yes.
Number 21, motion to appoint to represent the town of Amenia at the Associations of Town Meetings in New York City in February 2014.
Okay, is anyone going?
I believe I'll go. Is there anybody else going?
I might go down for a day,
Okay.
but you can be the representative.
I can be the representative. I'm willing to do that.
I mean, I could talk to you about that and see,
Yep.
I'm not 100% sure, but I can talk to you and see if we could wiggle something.
I think it's the weekend of February 14th, somewhere in there.
So do you want to be the alternate now?
Yeah, you could put me down as the alternate.
Okay.
All right.
I have packets for each of you tonight to take so you know what you're voting on.
Okay.
And Mike made that motion.
Yes.
I'll second
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
Yes.
Councilman Crody,
it. Yes.
Councilman Delango,
Yes.
and Supervisor Brody.
Yes.
Okay, 22. Motion to authorize the supervisor's bookkeeper to do pre-audit functions of vouchers, including math accuracy, checking for sales slips, delivery slips, and paid bills by municipal employee receiving goods.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
Yes.
Councilman Crody,
Yes.
Councilman Delango, and
Yes.
Supervisor Brody.
Yes.
Motion to authorize that checks may be signed for the supervisor by a device commonly known as a check signer.
Second it.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger,
Yes.
Councilman Crody,
Yes.
Councilman Delango, and
Yes.
Supervisor Crody.
Abstain. Motion to authorize a charge of $25 on each check tendered as payment in return for insufficient funds, including lost payroll checks.
I'll second that.
Is there a reason we had to increase that? Is the bank charging us more?
No, we increased it for It doesn't matter if the bank is charging us more, that's the cost that, more of a cost to us to have to handle that more than once.
That was my only question.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Oh, me. Motion to authorize the supervisor's bookkeeper to make certificates of deposit investments of available funds.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Number 26, motion that the town board audit town officers' financial records by 1/18/2013 per town law 123 and designate town board auditors. Town court, both justices, Doyle and Delango. Chief fiscal officer, Hitzelberger and Delango. Town clerk and tax collector, Perotti and Doyle.
Second?
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
27, motion that all monthly bank reconciliations of town clerk and town bookkeeper be made by an outside party.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilman Delango? And
Yes.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
I'll leave that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, 28. Motion that monthly budget reports be distributed to all department heads and the complete monthly budget report be distributed to the town clerk for public viewing by the town bookkeeper.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilman Delango? And
Yes.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes. Motion that the town
Sorry,
board,
who seconded that? I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Stephen.
I'll second.
Motion that the town board has the responsibility to authorize the attendance of all officers and employees at conferences and training sessions as specifically required per General Municipal Law 77B.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilman Delango? And
Yes.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Motion to accept 2014 schedules for the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Number 31, motion to reappoint the following members to committees and boards. Conservation Advisory Council, David Reagan, Chair, Arlene Iulio, Mark Doyle, Michael Peak, Roger Russell, and Maria Genovese. Emergency Response Committee, Stanley Whitehead, John Keller, Christopher Howard, Virgil Shook Jr., and Marco D'Antonio. Enhancement Committee, Kevin Consone, Tony Castro. Trail to Train Committee, David Regan, Martin Grossman. Wastewater, Janet Regan, Chair, Tony Rubicelli. Allison Hale, Brad Rebelar, Martin Grossman, Bill Carroll, Marco D'Antonio, Darlene Reamer, and Victoria Alexander. Water District Committee, Mary Jones, Chair, Bill Carroll, Martin Grossman, Marco D'Antonio, Norman Kaya.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Okay, 32, motion to appoint Cedar and Company, Linda Hannigan, as CPA support, 60-day appointment.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
33, motion to execute Resolution Number 1 of 2014, constables authorized to carry firearms.
I'll second that.
Do you want to read the resolution at this time? Or do you want to do it later?
Do
we
it.
can do it. Motion to execute Resolution Number 1 of 2014, constables authorized to carry firearms. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Amenia adopted a Town Constable Local Law Number 3 of 2007 on 9/2007, whereas pursuant to the Town Constable Local Law 3 of 2007 and Resolution Number 1 of 2010, the Town Board may adopt a resolution authorizing a Town Constable to carry a firearm while carrying out his or her official duties, subject to the Town Constable complying with noted conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board hereby authorizes each of the following Town Constables to carry the firearm identified in this resolution while carrying out his or her official duties as Town Constable. Constable Christopher Klinger, firearm Smith & Wesson 38-357 revolver, Glock 23 40 caliber. Jason Dean, Glock 23 40 caliber. Brett Johnson, Glock 27 40 caliber. Dwayne Jackson, Glock 17 9mm. Smith & Wesson 915 9mm. Be it further resolved that the authority granted to each town constable by this resolution shall be subject to each town constable complying with the following conditions. The town constable must possess a New York State license to carry the authorized firearm pursuant to the Penal Code 400 at all times and must keep proof of such license on file in the town hall. The town constable must satisfactorily complete the Department of Criminal Justice Services basic course for peace officers with firearms and deadly physical force training, and such other training as the town board and/or New York State law may require. The town constable must provide the authorized firearm at his or her own cost. I make that motion?
Councilwoman Doyle already made that.
Okay,
Already
second that.
seconded. Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Motion to execute Resolution Number 2 of 2014, adoption of investment policy. Resolution Number 2 of 2014, whereas the Town of Amenia is required by New York State law to have an investment policy regarding such funds as it collects and administers throughout the year, and whereas the New York State Comptroller's Office has provided towns with an approved investment policy as a guideline to adopt, and whereas the Town of Amenia wishes to comply with the law and the State Office of the State Comptroller guidelines. Be it therefore enacted that the Town of Amenia adopts the attached investment policy to take effect immediately. I make the motion.
Yes, second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Number 35, motion to execute Resolution Number 3 of 2014, ratifying Code of Ethics adopted in 2011. Just find the Code of Ethics.
You have it?
To read this whole thing?
Yes.
Read this? Okay. Resolution Number 3 of 2014, resolution ratifying Code of Ethics adopted in 2011. At a meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Amenia, Town Board, held at the Town of Amenia Town Hall on the 2nd day of January 2014, that should be changed to the 6th day of January 2014, at 7 p.m., Councilman Michael DeLango, seconded by Councilwoman
I'll second it.
Mrs. Vicky Doyle, move the following resolution to wit. Whereas on February 14, 2013, the Town Board of the Town of Amenia adopted and amended an employee handbook to apply to all officials and employees of the town. And whereas the amendment to the employee handbook included a code of ethics which was not identical to the Town of Amenia Code of Ethics adopted on April 21st, 2011, as local law number 1 of 2011, and contained in Chapter 15 of the Town of Amenia Town Code. And whereas it was not the intention of the town board to amend the Town of Amenia Code of Ethics when it adopted the amendment to the employee handbook on February 14, 2013. And whereas the town board now wishes to ratify the Code of Ethics adopted by local law number 1 of 2011 and contained in Chapter 15 of the Town of Amenia Town Code, and the booklet dated June 21st, 2011, titled 2011 Code of Ethics of the Town of Amenia, a copy of which is attached hetero, as the Code of Ethics of the Town of Amenia. And whereas the town board further wishes to amend the employee handbook by substituting the version of the Code of Ethics contained in the booklet dated June 21st, 2011, titled 2011 Code of Ethics, the Town of Amenia, attached hetero, for the version of the Code of Ethics contained in the amendment to the employee handbook adopted on February 14, 2013. And whereas the town board has determined that adopting an amendment to the employee handbook is a Type 2 action under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and therefore does not require any environmental review. And therefore, it should be resolved that the Town of Amenia Employee Handbook adopted on February 14, 2013 is hereby amended to substitute the Code of Ethics contained in the booklet dated June 21st, 2011, titled 2011 Code of Ethics of the Town of Amenia, attached hetero, which is the version of the Code of Ethics adopted on April 21st, 2011 as local law number 1 of 2011 and contained in Chapter 15 of the Town of Amenia Town Code, for the Code of Ethics contained in the Town of Amenia Employee Handbook adopted on February 14, 2013. And be it further resolved that the Town of Amenia Employee Handbook, along with a copy of the booklet dated June 21st, 2011, titled 2011 Code of Ethics of the Town of Amenia, a copy of which is attached hetero, shall be distributed with a signed acknowledgement contained therein to all town officials and employees. The foregoing resolution was voted upon with all councilwomen, councilmen voting as follows.
Supervisor Prodi?
Yes.
Councilman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Prodi?
Yes.
Councilman DeLango?
Yes.
Okay, supervisors' goals. One of my goals is to promote open government. In order to do that, cell phones will have to be turned off for all town board meetings. Taxpayers should be able to hear all information presented without interruption. In addition, the town clerk report, department and committee reports, along with another public comment period at the end of the meeting, will be added to all town board meeting agendas. We will also have a monthly report on heating and cooling system replacement progress, including what systems are being reviewed and the potential cost. There will be 2 public forums held in the coming months, one for the progression of the Old Amenia landfill to Thomas Young Park to include a summary of the work completed, as well as the cost and what amount the town of Amenia will be responsible for. A second public forum will be for the Trail to the Train project with a summary of where we are in the process, what grants have been received, and exactly what they can be used for and the final cost. Taxpayers will be able to get answers to any questions they may have. Another goal is to look for ways to cut costs and increase revenue. One is review all contracts for cost savings. However, focus will be on attorney and municipal accountant categories where expenditures were higher than anticipated last year. Initiate an inventory of all equipment and supplies in addition to restoring supply lines so department heads know what their expenditures are and can look for cost savings and budget accordingly. Look at more user-friendly water billing software in addition to taking a hard look at revenue to see where more can be generated through either raising rates and/or penalties for non-payment. Goal number 3, execute next steps to move the highway garage building project to completion. The highway superintendent will be working with the code enforcement officer to come up with a plan for the least costly and more energy efficient building so that the town of Amenia can make sure that the highway department is using a safe building. Goal number 4, make sure that all processes and procedures meet state and local government guidelines. Retain an outside municipal accounting auditor to review all cash accounts and make recommendations for procedural improvements in preparation for the Office of the Controller's report, which will be critical of the town of Amenia's lack of segregation of duties and oversight in financial areas. I'm looking forward to working with the new town board in order to meet my goals for the benefit of the town of Amenia. Town board comments?
I just mentioned that it's very exciting to see new faces at the town board and some returning faces, and I really support everybody doing their public service. This is really, we are public servants, and I think of myself as a public servant. We work for you, and you need to communicate to us if you have any issues that we need to address. I'm happy to try and work with everybody else on all the issues, just trying to move the town forward. I think it's a great time to start fresh, and if you're on a committee or you're newly elected or you're sitting on a planning board or the ZBA, there are requirements for training, and I appreciate Dawn Marie as town clerk willingness to keep on file any record of your training requirements as required by law. So I would ask that within the next 3 months you look at what your requirements are for your office and see what you need to do and file it with Dawn Marie, who's already keeping track of those things, and report back to us in 3 months to let us know who's outstanding on their training, and we'll work to try and make that happen. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody who elected me to be here. You know, I hope I could do as good of a job as I want to do and as you expect me to do. Again, we are here for the community. I would love to see more community involvement. I know you see us on TV and everything, but I would love to see people at the meetings so we could hear some of your responses to what we're talking about up here. Instead of you just staying home and yelling at the TV, it would be nice to see you here. I want to explore more ways to make the town board accessible to the community. You know, there's a couple things that I'd love to talk about. Maybe having a roaming meeting where we could go to Tally Ho Trailer Park, we could go to Wassaic, and actually have a town board meeting out of the town hall and get people involved and going to more meetings and being involved more. There's so many things that I just want to tear into and just start doing. You're going to have to excuse me sometimes. I do get a little long-winded, and I do just want things to happen. So just bear with me. If I'm going too fast, slow me down. Tell me, you know, let's put that on next month or next week or something like that. But I'm here for the community, and I want to make Amenia a better place for our future. I want to make Amenia a better place for our kids and everybody else's kids. And the best thing is We just have to put our differences aside. We have to work together. Not everybody's going to agree all the time, and it's not going to happen that way. But we have to respect each other. We have to respect everybody's opinion, and we have to listen, because we're going to learn something from every single person that has something to say. Thank you.
I just wanted, one of my goals this year is to try to get the communications out from the town in a larger way. Right now we have the television and the website and the telephone line, and I'd like to see that work smoothly. So we have things happen like the rescheduling of the holiday of lights that we have, that it just works more smoothly. I want to continue my work ensuring the data security for the town. I think that's really huge for me, and continue to learn about how the budget works and make sure I understand it as we go through.
Actually, I'm very thankful for all those that supported me, and I looking forward to working with the board and trying to bring Armenia down in the next chapter. We have a lot of things that are going to be going on, one of which is Silo Ridge, and then we also have a lot of things that are going to be coming down the pike as far as with the rail trail, Thomas Young Park, all of those things, and like the idea of the roaming meeting. It sounds like a good idea, and it's definitely needed, because there are a lot of people in the community. I know when I was campaigning that felt like they're forgotten about, especially the southern end of the town. And one of my things is my door is open. Anybody needs to get as a concern or a comment or anything like that, just don't hesitate to try and contact me, email me, and I will have my contact information on the website, on the Town of Armenia website. My goals, I'd like to bring two things that this town and the people in it need the most, and that's our jobs and tax base. Hopefully we can work with the board to try and take a look at our master plan and take a look at our overlays. I'm sure it's about, I know that Vicki Doyle, Councilwoman Doyle mentioned that that's something that we need to take a look at. And what we need to do is we need to pull all of our ideas together and work toward common ground to do what is beneficial for the town of Armenia and bringing us forward. We need to beautify the town, the hamlets, and it's not only the hamlet of Armenia, but also the hamlet of Wassaic. We have a lot of special things that are happening in both hamlets. They both have their own character and their own. They both have something wonderful that they can contribute to our community and to our future development of the town. I guess that's about it. From my standpoint, like I said, I'm accessible. If you have any questions or concerns, I'll do what I can to help. Government's about being open and having communication and working together toward what's best for everyone. And that's what I hope to do.
Anyone else? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Brody? And
Yes.
Supervisor Curry?
Yes.